What's up, everybody, to another video. This is going to be the video on wiring harness for your Scion, whether it's an XA, XB. It could even be for a Yaris or any other vehicle that you're going to be doing a swap on. So I've been asked a lot of questions about what harness do I use. Can I use a donor harness from like a Corolla or Matrix XRS? You can. The issue with that is you cannot use your fuse box. And once you run the wire harness on the vehicle in the car, yeah, you may not have to depend anything in the ECU, but you're going to have to use a donor car fuse box and the entire interior harness, which I didn't want to do. So the easiest thing for me was just to use my harness. Um, this XA harness actually fits the motor pretty well. You will have to do a few things like coil and the injector wires run together, so you have them running like this. You won't be able to put that cover on I just took off. I didn't like that at all, and I wanted to put the cover on for whatever reason. So I just took the silica or the 2ZZ piece here and the coil wires and just extended them and ran them through here, make it look nice like it's supposed to be there, and just ran them, taped them up, and put them into the harness. All right, it's very easy. Cut the wires, solder them together, you're done. The next thing I want to go over is the alternator wiring before I get into the car. So this blue wire right here, you will have to cut it out of the harness or right here, and just try to run it through. You're gonna put it through the battery, and you're gonna fuse it. The reason for this, and forgive this, this is temporary. I'll fix that with the proper gauge wiring shortly. The reason why you want to do this is because on the XA, the ECU supplied power to your alternator. On the Celica and Corolla, Matrix, Pontiac Vibe GT, whichever ECUs you use, it does not. So you have to supply your own 12-volt power to the alternator. Other than that, another difference on the ECU is you are going to lose your coolant temp sensor when you turn on the vehicle. It's blue, lets you know it's cold. If the car overheats, it shows you it's overheating. You're going to lose that as well. So you're going to run a gauge in the vehicle for your temperature sensor, so that way you know what temperature you're running. So real quick, let's get into the car and show you what I did to the ECU. Also, you have to switch around the first two wires here on your TPS or your throttle positioning sensor. The reason for that is because the 2ZZ opens up the intake manifold this way, and the Scion opened up the opposite direction. So don't forget to switch those first two wires around. All right, so we're in the car. So here's the ECU. I'm actually using the 03 Pontiac Vibe GT, which is the same thing as a Corolla Matrix XRS. I picked it up from the junkyard for like 25 or 50 bucks, something cheap. So here it is. Here's the plugs. Now you will label. I labeled everything. Take your time on this. I did de-pin everything to make it look as clean as possible, but you will notice I did have to cut a few wires. Now I didn't know this until I got into it because there's no instructions to follow. But some of these wires, like this one here, see where it's cut? It's like 2 or 3 of them. I didn't want to do this, but I had to. The reason is some of these pins down here have to be relocated. And if you notice, this one here was relocated to a top pin, which before was in a lower pin setting. And the pins are different sizes. So I looked up, once I got into it, looked up the tools that I needed, and it wasn't much for the crimping tool and the new pins, but I wasn't going to wait a week to get it, so I just did that. It's not a big deal. It works. It looks good. I do have a check engine light on still. I have a few wires here that I did not put in the ECU yet, and your knock sensors. You are going to have to change them according to your vehicle. Some are 1 wire, some are 2 wire. So just be mindful of that. Get the correct one. All right, let's go to the books and ECU so I can show you some more wiring. One more wire I forgot to mention is your black with a red trace. It's going to be your IGSW wire. You're going to tap that wire and run it to 12 volt. I just for now ran it to an ignition wire, but you can run it to, you're going to need to run it to a 12 volt source. That's it. All right, so over here, I have the same thing I had in the car. This is actually a spare one I got from the junkyard. Another Pontiac Vibe GT computer. Focus. Now here's an interesting one too you can pick up. This is going to be from a 2001 Celica GTS. So the plugs are a little different. They're more squared. And if you do use this ECU, just get the correct book that you need to wire it up with. Also, make sure you get the square plugs from the Celica donor car. Since I'm going to be using the 03 Matrix computer, I got the correct book for it. Now here is, you're also going to need your book for your vehicle, and there is your old ECU. Now the cool thing about this is if you go with the 03, let's take this out. All right, so if you go with the 03 Matrix XRS, your Scion XA plug will just plug right in. So that's why I went with that. It's a little bit easier. So I already have the pins. So I cut these off from the original wire harness I pulled the engine from of the junkyard and did the same thing I did to the wire harness. I labeled each wire and what it is. The reason why is when I was in the car wiring it up, because looking at these books are really tedious. So I just use it as like a cheat sheet. So when I was going along, I was making sure that the plugs were correct and it worked flawlessly. Now, being asked a lot, how to wire it up. When you're asking me these questions, how to wire it up, I'm not sure if you want me to give you the answers, but the answers are found in this book. Now, let me give you an example. Engine control. So that's going to be your Scion. So let me just starting. Let's go with engine control. All right. Is this the right one? Engine control. All right, so if you look at this, the books, you will see how your vehicle is wired up. And this right here will be for the ECU. Now, if you look right here, these right here are labeled D and then the corresponding number. So D would be actually your plug or pin E6. And then 1 would be actually pin number 1. To show you, these right here, all these plugs right here, this is your E6 plug. I marked it so that way I know when I'm working on the car what I'm dealing with. If I were to pull another one out, this one is my E5 plug. All right, so when you're in this book, you're looking around, you've seen how the car works, starting from the ignition coil or switch all the way over, and then you do the same thing with the Matrix or Corolla book. You just look in there and you figure out where everything goes. So you label everything you find what it is right here, where it goes, and then you do the same thing on this side. So if you're looking for a battery wire, it's going to be in D3 on the matrix, and D3 is also the same location. They're different colors. It's going to be yellow or black and yellow on the Scion, and over here it's red and white. So go through them all, and you're going to have lots of fun. Spend hours doing this, but that's the way to do it. So if you're looking for 03 book, that's going to be your part number. If you're looking for 06 matrix, that's your part number. 06 Scion, that's your part number. And if you're looking for 2001 book, this would be your part number. As far as ECUs, this is an ECU that I'm using. That is a part number 03 Corolla Matrix Pontiac Vibe GT computers. And this is your 2001 Celica GTS computer. If I left anything out or you need more information, let me know. But if you're going to do the swap, take your time. It's definitely worth it. Just give you an idea of the next video I'm going to make are these weak ass mounts. These Scion X8 mounts are super weak. If you notice the whole thing here, just by doing a couple burnouts, launching the car, just destroyed. Can't even see this. Destroyed the mount, like took the whole top right off. So we'll get into that in another video on what I'm gonna do with some mounts. But yeah, get started on your project. Put this 2ZZ. I want to see more swaps out there on Scions, XBs, Yaris's, 2ZZs, 1ZZs, 2ZRs, 3SGTEs. Speaking of 3SGTEs, that's the engine I really want to put in here. But this one's a lot of fun. All right, till the next time, next video, have a good one.